Hey guys, it's Nathan, and I'm going to be doing some Advanced Warfare gameplay slash commentary today. As far as the gameplay, this is going to be some kill confirmed on Detroit. I'm rocking the AK-12 RIP with an overkill class using the ASM-1 Speakeasy as a secondary. You guys can go back and pause if you want to see the class at the beginning of the video. This is not live commentary. This is, regular commentary. I just want to make sure you guys know that so there's no confusion in the future whether I'm doing live commentary or overlay commentary. I am doing overlay commentary this time. So I don't really want to discuss the gameplay per se. I want to discuss kind of something that happened to me last weekend and get some opinion slash feedback or whatever you want to call it from you guys, Basically, has something like this happened to you before, and how have you gone about handling it? Anyway, I'll jump right into it. Me and my mom went out either Saturday or Sunday this past weekend. I want to say it was Saturday this past weekend. We went out to the mall. My brother needed new jeans, and we figured we'd go out and buy him some new jeans. So we are big fans of Hollister, the Hollister brand, and whenever we can, we try to afford that stuff because the clothing is like the swag, cool kid clothing, like Hollister, Aeropostale, Quicksilver. Those are just the brands to wear if you're at school and stuff. So I thought it would be really funny to dress up 100% Hollister and walk around in the Hollister store. So I had on my Hollister jeans, my belt, my Hollister shirt, my Hollister hoodie, and I had like glasses on and stuff. So like when I walked in, I wasn't wearing my glasses in the store. Who does that? But you get me. When I walked in there, I was 100% Hollister, and I was looking good. Okay, I don't say that often, but I was looking particularly good, and it was really funny because it was the Hollister store, like I said. So I looked like a Hollister model walked off the poster and was walking around in the store. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you guys get me. I was on my prime. I was looking good. People were looking. People thought I looked great. I was feeling great. It was a good day. Okay, and so I was walking around. We walked around at the mall. I enjoyed myself being out, and it was getting a little bit later, around 8 p.m. And me and my mom decided to go out and grab something to eat. Now, grabbing something to eat is usually a little bit of a big deal for us. We don't have a ton of money, so going out and getting something to eat is pretty significant as far as where we eat. So when we do go out, the restaurant we pick is very, very important. So my mom basically let me pick, and it was down between Applebee's or Chili's for me. And I'm sitting here, and the make it or break it thing, why I didn't want to go to Applebee's and why we drove like the extra 10 miles to go to Chili's, was because of the croutons and the Caesar salad. I love Caesar salads, and I love the croutons in the Caesar salads. I always order a side Caesar salad with whatever I get. If I'm getting a burger, if I'm getting like chicken strips or whatever, I order a side Caesar salad first. I just love Caesar salads, and I'll tell you what, the Caesar salads at Applebee's are awful. I know croutons are technically stale bread. Like, that's what croutons are made of. But at Applebee's, they taste like stale bread, You're supposed to put seasoning or butter or something in it to make your croutons in the Caesar salad taste good. And for whatever reason, Applebee's didn't do it. The croutons tasted like you were eating stale bread. It was disgusting, and that was worth it for me to drive a little bit extra further to Chili's to eat at Chili's rather than eat at Applebee's. So we ate at Chili's instead. My mom wasn't a super big fan of that just because of the croutons. She would have preferred Applebee's, but she sucked it up. She did it for me. She's an awesome mother, nicest person you'll ever meet. And anyway, we pull up, we get in Chili's, and they're full. They have a bit of a full parking lot. You can tell it's busy on the inside. So we walk on in, and the greeter is like, hi, welcome to Chili's. How are you guys doing this evening? We're pretty stacked tonight. Is a diner booth all right? Is a diner booth all right? Immediately, I'm like, yeah, booth sounds great. I didn't know at the time that there was a difference between booth and diner booth, and my mom did. So she looks at me and she's like, diner booth? She's giving me this look like, diner booth? Are you sure? And I just give her this look back, and my look says, booth? Yeah, booth. My look is like, booth? Yes. And her look is like, diner? No. And it turns out diner booth is a booth in the diner, okay? Inception. Whoa, you guys wouldn't have guessed that, right? But the diner is usually a little bit louder than the rest of the restaurant. It's close to the bar. So you got people who are a little bit buzzed on some alcohol there talking in the diner. So it was going to be a little bit louder than the rest of the restaurant, which wouldn't have been, you know, as big of a deal if people were still talking at a normal volume, right? But I'm talking to my mom, and I end up seeing her looking at these three women sitting at the table behind us. She's looking at, you know, them out of the corner of her eye, and I catch her drift, and I turn around, I look behind me. It wasn't really behind me, it was kind of a little bit behind and to the left of, rather. And there are these three women in their middle, like 30s or 40s, sitting at the table. And this one woman in particular is talking extremely loud. She's talking, I mean, there is a normal loud, and then there's what this woman was doing. And she had a couple daiquiris on her desk, so you could tell she was maybe a little bit buzzed. And was just talking very loud, and we're sitting here hearing all about how, you know, Tony's got a big promotion coming up, and Tony's working in his warehouse, and he's working on getting promoted, and Tony this and Tony that, and I walked out of that restaurant knowing all about Tony's life. I have no idea who Tony was, but I knew about him, and I knew everything about him by the time that was done, you know, and I should not have been able to hear this woman speaking that loud. And I'm sitting here, and it's bothering my mother, you can tell. And at first, I didn't want to say anything, you know. I'm like, okay, Mom, you know, let's just try to ignore her. Let's not say anything, you know. And my mom was like, okay, you know. And it takes a lot for her to get annoyed, because, like I said, she is a very nice person. And it finally starts bothering me. You know, this woman talking loud didn't necessarily bother me, but it was bothering my mom. And I can't enjoy myself if my mom isn't enjoying herself. So I had to do something about that. And it wasn't just us. It was the whole rest of the diner. You know, people were turning around from the bar, doing like an entire 180 and looking at this woman. And other people had looked at her, like, because she was being so loud. And, you know, I'm sitting here deciding whether I should say something. Should I say something? Should I say something to her or not? You know, I'm sitting here having this internal battle, and meanwhile, my heart rate is rising. I'm getting this, like, I'm about to get in a fight, or I'm about to run a 100-meter dash or something. Like, that's how my heart rate is going. It's like, you know, it shouldn't be. All I'm gonna do is just turn around and say something, you know, like, hey, can you guys talk a little bit quiet, you know, something like that. But my heart rate rose like crazy, and most people, well, everybody in that diner wasn't saying anything, you know. And I finally turn around, and I'm like, you know, hey, you know, and I say very nicely, I'm like, hey, excuse me, and, you know, they turn around. And it was only one woman who was being loud in particular, and her friends were a little bit embarrassed that I had to say something to all of them, but I didn't make it look like it was about that one. I said, hey, you know, I'm sure you guys aren't meaning to be rude or anything, but, you know, I'm trying to have a conversation with my mom, and it's a little bit hard, you know, hard to hear her because you guys are talking just a little bit too loud. You know, can you guys maybe talk a little bit quieter or something? You know, I'd appreciate it. And, you know, that went fine. That went fine. They started talking quieter. But the point is, a normal person might not have done that. A normal person might have just tried to ignore it and wouldn't have confronted the situation. And this next clip you're actually seeing is a quad feed. I get hit with a sniper rifle. But my point is, most people would have ignored it. Most people would have not said anything. And I want to know, you know, how you guys would have handled that situation, how you think you would have handled it, whatever. It was a really big deal for me. But it worked. You know, the restaurant really appreciated it when, you know, other people in the restaurant were very appreciative. You could tell they were like, oh, thank God that kid's, you know, stepped up and said something. But I want to know how you guys would have handled that situation, you know, what you guys think about that. So if you could let me know that in the comment section down below, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed the gameplay and stuff, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye.
Taking control!